Start.
Not working.
Start. No, it's not showing up just yet. I think I have to press. Let's see. I just have to do this, and then say start streaming, connecting. Yeah, it should be going on now. All right, so let's check out the U.S. Women's Chess Champs. We got 2 anonymous students here.
I see it.
Yeah, they went through. All right, we had some great games. Yeah, it's live, right? Okay, so let's go on to here, and you can see the chessboard there from St. This is from day 5. So I just saw the news that Grandmaster Irina Krush has taken back her title. All right, do you guys see it right there? You guys see all the games? We can just click on this. It's pulled from, looks like it's pulled from leadchess.org, and they put it on the US Chess Champs website. So we have all these games from day 5, and we were just looking at the game where Sabina Forsor, former women's champion from a few years ago, she won. Okay, did you guys want to see the final game by Irina Krush?
Sure.
I think it's the game. Well, she played 2. I think it was against Emily Nguyen here. I think that was her last one. Let's see. That was a critical game. Yeah, she's playing white. She won that game. Yeah, and she had a great game against Tata Babrahamian. Have you guys seen any of the games?
Wait, Coach, can you mute yourself in either the Zoom call or the stream? I'm gonna mute the stream. Just mute the stream. Yeah. Okay, great.
Oh wait, what's going on? Is it?
He's just hearing it. I think it was just weird hearing your stream and you in the Zoom call at like separate times. It was really weird. But now
Just mute one of them.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Or I can, yeah.
And now I just muted the stream. I muted the stream.
Okay. Hopefully that's not. Yeah, I don't think it's affecting. So the stream, one or the other should be fine as long as you don't do both.
Okay, I gave the stream a like because I'm nice that way.
Thank you. All right, let's check it out. So you guys see, and we can have the we can have some annotations. We'll do some analysis. Okay, so Irina Krush versus Emily Nguyen, d4, d5, c4, c6. And what's the name of this defense? When black goes c6, what's that called?
Wait, 1 second. Okay. Wait, what just happened? I accidentally left the stream for a minute.
Okay, go back on there.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm back. So what's defense? This is the Slav.
The Slav defense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. We close some of these. We close them here. No, that's fine. All right. So we got Slav defense. Takes. Exchange variation. And it's interesting because I was looking at Irina's game against Tatev and a few rounds ago, and she had something similar. It wasn't a Slav though. She exchanged, I think it was e6, and she ended up playing against an isolated pawn, but she plays really actively in these exchange variations, which are sometimes, I don't know, it seems kind of passive, right? Because you're basically just getting symmetry, but she does have the first move, and so she can get a slight advantage. Let's see how she handles this. So she gets her kind of like a London system. You get your bishop out. Okay. So what's going on here? So she pins the knight. She's playing for dark square control, right? Maybe to come in 95. Now when she takes it, she's given up a bishop for a knight. What do you think she's gained in return? Couple of imbalances that could favor her.
Well, it looks like once you've given up the bishop for the knight, you first of all are playing against an isolated pawn, which makes your life
well, the a6 is isolated. Possibly this could become relevant, later on. There's another. Well, it really messes up the structure a lot. What else is going on structurally for an Emily here?
Obviously, there's a missing B pawn there on the B pawn. Yeah.
For white or for black?
For black.
Yeah. Well, if you can get your queen to b7 or something, maybe a4 can attack. And the other thing is that the bishop stops rook b8 as long as it stays on f4. So black can't really take the file and the half-open file. And what about the c6 pawn?
The c6 pawn just looks very weak. It's hanging right now, and it's definitely problematic.
Yeah, especially if you don't get to push it. So this will be, there's like the famous Rubinstein game where there's a backward pass, there's a backward pawn. So the question is whether they get to push it or not. If she can stop her from pushing it, that'll be stuck there and it'll be a target. Either way, though, she's going to have a lead in development, it looks like. She's got 2 out. It's her move again. She's already castled. So Emily's a few moves behind in castle, and that's a problem. So yeah, she's giving up the bishop pair, but it's not like it's a super open position anyway. So the bishops may not be great in this position. We'll see. Knight bd2. So she's actually allowing c5, but do you think that she should be doing c5 right away before she's castled? What do you think? We'll say anonymous. Are we gonna say anonymous and wealth? Anonymous. Okay, anonymous. What do you think?
I'm thinking that she should. I think she still should have castled first.
Probably, yeah. I mean, she can try it, but it's a little risky because she should finish her development. Actually, wait. Let me check something real quick. Let me just make sure the volume is good for you guys. Wait, say something. Say like testing, testing.
Testing.
Okay, I'll just make the voice.
Testing. Oh my God! Don't even look at the stream.
Shh, guys. Okay, hold on. Stop. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Well, what's happening in the stream? I'm confused.
Yeah, we have it going now. Is the stream going?
Look at your stream, coach.
What happened?
It's just infinite. Oh, it was infinite.
Oh, you mean like when I opened up the OBS?
Yeah, when you opened up the OBS, the entire
it's like 2 mirrors. It's like 2 mirrors infinitely going. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, you open the stream, I open the other stream.
Yeah, it's weird how it does that. Okay, so now it just mirrors the screen like indefinitely. Okay, so knight bd2, queen b6. Okay, there you go. So she's just playing positionally. In the game against Tatev, kind of similar structure, but although in that game again, black had the isolated queen pawn. So she played very, very dynamically. In this game, she's playing more positionally, it looks like. She's just kind of going for that clamp on the dark square, you see?
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, she's not getting c5 in anytime soon, which is going to mean she'll be restricted. So maybe she should have done it earlier. I don't know. But then she would have probably got her king stuck in the center. And there's aggressive Irina crushing her opponent.
Bam.
G4. She's going for the win. This is.
Wow,
I think this is her very last game. What's that?
I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, kind of like the bayonet. Well, usually the pawn's on h6. Usually there's an h6
Yeah, that's
pawn
a pretty
running
serious
pawn.
bayonet. If you actually know, that's very interesting.
Well, is she trying to take it? Yeah, she does end up taking the bishop. So then she just doesn't have to deal with the bishop pair anymore. It's just bishop versus bishop, and restricted c pawn, just a backward c pawn. So she can maybe simplify things like that by going. So she chases it back. Now she wants to win the bishop, right? That's really aggressive. But look at it. I mean, how are Emily's pieces going to reach out Irina's king anytime soon? So she has to take a little risk analysis and say, how risky is this, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like it's not that bad. Well, now that she played h6, what's the benefit for Irina of taking now? How does that possibly benefit her even more?
Well, it helps from the knight taking.
Oh wait, is this from day 4? Oh, I clicked on day 4. Oh no, it says day 4 on the bottom. No, I think it says day 5 up here. So the knight, well, when he takes back here, you said the knight can take what?
The knight can take the pawn.
Which pawn? After this?
The pawn. Yeah.
Which one?
Um,
G4? The black knight?
Yeah.
The G pawn?
Yeah, the G pawn.
Well, maybe they can sack it later on. I mean, that's what she'd have to watch out for, since her king is kind of open. But by taking on G6, what kind of weakness has Emily taken on? Because we already saw there's structural weaknesses on A6 and C6. Now that you have this, so this aggressive plan is really justified because you make her play H6, you take it. Now look at this. Look at the difference in the pawn structure now. How does this?
There's obviously you've got 2 extremely weak pawns now. You've got the your E pawn and your G pawn are both very weak.
Exactly. So these are, and the question is, can they be attacked? Are they attackable? Possibly. Well, the key is this is not, we're going to try to restrain this pawn, maybe knight c5 later on. And the G pawn could, well, you can move your queen up to c2 or d3. Look at that one. And then now the e6 pawn became isolated, and she could land a piece on e5. So there's no more option of going f6. So this is definitely a very weak structure for Emily. Now, Irina has some weaknesses, but again, you can't really, the pawn, like kind of that flying saucer thing with the pawns, or someone could describe it as the net. And yeah,
but it was a great move to get the c file.
What's that?
To get the c file to go rook c1, that was a good move by Irina too.
Exactly. Put pressure on the c file.
Yeah.
Make it hard. I mean, I guess she could. Well, she was preoccupied
is
with
the
her
only
bishop.
way that black can kind of resolve it and attack white's king in any way.
That was the only file that she was not doing great on because she lost the c pawn.
Yeah, exactly. And well, what were you saying?
I was just saying that that's really the only way that black could generate anything against the white king. So
Is through the c file?
Through that diagonal. And by taking control of the c file, I thought maybe there would be a chance if you can push
this diagonal here?
Yeah.
Yeah, after c5, maybe the a7 g1 diagonal. Yeah, but now it's going to be tough because queen c2. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 controlling here, and if she pushes, she's only got 3, so you can just take it. I mean, she's hoping to go maybe knight d7, but first the king comes to patch up everything. We'll see if that works. And then, wow, we have 2 safety moves in a row. a5 going after the knight. Well, she's not subtle about that. She's just going for, looks like she's just going to attack.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple. That's where you got the play happening.
Yeah.
She's going full on, what side is it? King side.
King side, yeah, going for the king side attack. Now that's the bayonet attack, right? Continuing g4, especially because h6 has been played. So we can go for g5 and just pry open those lines. Get them out.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. g4 to g5. Get to the king. All right, let's see. So she goes. So her opponent was worried about it. She blocks, takes, bishop takes. Well, it looks like Emily has. What do you think she's achieved by making this exchange? She's lost a pawn, it looks like. But what has she achieved? Possibly. I'm not sure it's clear that she's achieved anything. What does it seem like she's achieved?
It just cleared things out in front of the black king, and it makes it seem like you can maybe start.
Also, it makes it seem like the black king is like really squished in his own pieces.
Kind of squished. Well, but by this counter sacrifice though with g5, they gave away 2 for 1. She got a little activity, right? I mean, the king is not too healthy looking with the pawns like that, but at least the rook came out.
That's really the only thing that there is to it.
I mean, there's not.
But I still like the way white's pieces can just aim there.
And you can always go rook h1 and challenge it anyway.
Yeah, that queen diagonal is lethal.
Ah, look at that. That's tricky. So she's saying, okay, you got to go to g2. Because if you go to g3, I'm just going to, well, if you go to g3, maybe bishop d6 check. So she goes to g2. Now you have to worry about, where's the knight trying to go?
The knight is trying to just like hit the, just like bishop takes bishop and then knight forks is obviously the really simple idea. So
yeah,
that's
the bishop's hanging there
on e3.
But so she actually gets the pawn back. But I think maybe there's something that Emily had overlooked, which is suddenly there's an attack on the f file. It's still kind of murky though. It's a little murky. The other problem is that the c pawn's hanging.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's murky, but the c pawn's hanging too. So she's got the pressure against the c pawn. That never went away. Now she's got the pressure on the f file. I mean, the rook doesn't do much unless you get like queen, I don't know, queen b8 or c7 and try to get.
Yeah, unless you can somehow have them both aiming at h2, there's really nothing to it.
Yeah, and e3 is still under pressure. The knight was putting under pressure. Now the bishop's putting under pressure. So I mean, I don't know. It's murky, but at least so that's what Emily wanted to do though, because before she was just under a ton of pressure, and so she's like, all right, I have to try something here. Okay, so it's really going to come down to the concrete lines here. Well, okay, I'm going to block it. Did you guys see the move already?
Let's see.
I didn't see it.
Okay, you didn't see it? All right. Try to figure out what move Irina made here.
Let's see.
Just think about your candidate moves. What are some? Let's list out some aggressive candidate moves. Because I mean, right now that king, I don't know. I think the black king is a little more up. Well, definitely the white pieces are.
Wait, well, queen c6, I think. No, queen c5. Queen c5 is a good one.
Okay, so we have queen. Oh, that's interesting. So that's if you want to go for queen c5 check. That's if you want to go for the queen trade. If you think the endgame is good for you, that's one possibility. Now
I feel like it's going to be something immediate though, like something I don't know, like sacking the rook or something on f7. I'm not sure though.
The rook on where? F7.
Sacking the rook on f7.
We definitely have. Yeah, that's definitely a dangerous square. Well, I think we want a little assistance first.
Or you could go with just, I don't know, this isn't really as, there's no check involved, but there is a threat, so I guess we could just go like queen g6 or something.
Now that's definitely, that's looking aggressive.
That's the immediate,
so we have queen c5.
Good first move I think of. I don't know.
So we have queen c5, we have queen g6. Those look like two promising candidate moves. Anything else? Those are the most aggressive moves, I think. I mean, well, you could potentially take the pawn too. I mean, if you're going to check, maybe you could take on c6, right? Let's put that down.
Yeah.
So queen takes, rather c6. So we have queen takes c6, queen g6, and queen c5 check. Okay, what do you guys think? Which one looks the best? Oops.
I think just like, I like queen g6.
Yeah, queen g6 looks pretty good.
Because
that looks dangerous.
Like,
very dangerous.
Queen c5 check and queen take c6 are trades, and I don't really think you want to go and trade here. Just play off the advantage that you have right now in the attack you're building.
Yeah, it's going to be big initiative. And the thing about doing the trades is, as we looked at, the bishop's looking at e3. So you can get something, they get something. What's our count? 2, 4, 5. We both have 5. So we just keep trading. And actually that bishop might become really good in the endgame. Well, the knight's obviously not going to be bad if it gets to t5. But, well, the bishop's pretty active though, and it's looking at d4. So I'm not sure we want the endgame. So we're going with queen g6 then? That looks strong.
I mean, that's the one I think's the best because you're threatening a couple things at once.
Yeah. Looking at the bishop, looking at the pawn. Well, I assume the bishop would go back to f6. But then can you imagine a good follow-up you'd have? So we're looking at queen g6, bishop retreats. Can you imagine a good follow-up after bishop retreats to keep your attack alive? I mean, first of all, Emily wouldn't really have any immediate follow-up. She's kind of just under attack. So Irina has a move to keep throwing wood in the fire.
You just push with the pawn.
Exactly. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Anonymous?
That looks really good.
Is Anonymous going with that too? G5?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good. So here's what happened. She did play queen g6. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. She did play g5. Now the question is how. Well, actually the bishop's trapped. But it's a little murky. It's still murky. She's setting a trap. Do you guys see what the trap is?
Yeah.
What if you take the bishop?
Then whoops.
Whoops. Now you're it's like, oh, you got hungry for a bishop, and then
that's
they're
really not
hungry.
much of a big brain trap, but whatever.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, she would see it easily, but okay. But still, you don't want to get too excited. You know, if you're hungry for a bishop, and then suddenly you lose your queen. Okay, so what does she do? Well, she takes it slow. She just brings her rook over, but now she's threatening to win the bishop. It looks like indirectly. You see how she's threatening to win the bishop now?
Yeah.
By dealing with the threat. How?
Because you're dealing with the threat, because obviously your threat is that you take the rook and then you can just take the bishop, no big problems.
Yes.
But if they take your rook, then you
rows.
take back with the king, and immediately taking back with the king is cool. By a king move, you're threatening, which is kind of nice. But yeah.
Taking back, you're saying if they take you, you take back with the king on h1?
Exactly. And you've got the renewed threat against the bishop again.
I think either way, yeah. Both ways. Because even if you take now and they take here, you could just take the rook if they do the trade. Probably both are winning. Yeah, but I like the fact that you would get away from that issue, because even if the queen goes back or something and guards the rook, if your king's on h1, okay, they can check you. Then you go to g1 or even back to g2, and now there's no more problem, and you just take the bishop on the next move. Cool. So what actually happened here? So she instead goes, she's going, well, that's kind of dangerous. At least perpetual check if you're not looking at. She makes a really cool move. I like that move a lot. King f3. It's just a very bold king move. It's like, okay, what are you gonna do? Okay, well, maybe you're going to go rook f8, which is not what she did. No, she took first. Then she went rook f8. Okay, what is going on? Let me block it again. Let's not, so we don't get distracted by the actual moves. Try to solve it like a puzzle. It's kind of a defensive puzzle. In order to win the bishop, you have to make a good defensive move. Kill the counterattack. What do you do? Oh, once again, the trap. If you take right away, they take right. They fork your.
Oh yeah, obviously trap.
So once again, we can't do it. So how do we prepare to take the bishop?
What if we just go something like king g4?
A king move. Okay. Now we have to be precise about which king move. It was a king move. Let's be precise though. What's the move that's going to take away counter checks, minimize any possible counter checks? G4. What are other possibilities? Let's make the arrows.
I like g4. I can't see what's happening. Oh, okay. Never mind.
That's annoying. we don't want.
Never mind. I found it.
Yeah, good. You well, that's an option. You look at your option. You eliminate it. Process of elimination. Okay, what's the other one then?
Oh, it's king g3 maybe.
King g3.
But you can still get checked from there.
Not immediately. Well, yeah, there's. Oh, you mean b8?
Yeah.
Yeah, bishop e5. We don't really mind that. Not ideal, but we can deal with it. Well, then the only other question. Well, where else do we go if we want to make a king move, though? I mean, if we go to g2, we're definitely going to be attacked immediately. We can't allow that. That looks bad. So I don't know if we want to make a king move. Well, we have to get off the rook. We want to get off the file. We can't go to e2. We can't go to e4. Really, process of elimination brings us to g3, I think, doesn't it? No other moves to deal with the queen. I mean, we can make something. No, I mean, if we don't move the king, though, then they'll just free the bishop with check. So we got to go king g3, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like is the best thing.
It's just all we have, and that is exactly what she did. And I guess she coasted to victory pretty quickly. It's queen e2. It still happened, but she takes with check, and she takes with check, and she comes back with check.
Bang.
It's still really dangerous, though. It looks like black almost has perpetual.
I know, it's like very sketchy.
Okay, very sketchy, but at least you have knight c5 check. Well, wait, hold on. Didn't you have a better move there? I mean, well, what if you went back? Oh, if you go back, the rook is coming down. It's actually, yeah, she had to calculate that, though. When you play king g3, well, probably when she did king f3, she, of course, looked at this move and this move. This is the most obvious, capture and play rook f8. She has to look at it now and see that she has this idea of queen takes, followed by queen check. Now, oh, by the way, if you move your king, you lose the rook. So you got to go back, exposing the diagonal.
Yeah.
And now we either have a knight check or a rook check if she goes to the back rank. Yeah, the rook check looks, that's over because you're invading through the back rank through d8. So she has to go here, check, here. Okay, now what? Now, try to see if you can envision the rest of it, how she finished this.
Can't you just go, I don't know, like knight takes check?
Maybe, but let's look at we have some options. So what are our options? We have knight takes check. What else? That's one option, but we shouldn't rush. Yeah, knight takes pawn. We shouldn't rush at that though, because we might have something else. Because the thing is, we want our other pieces to come in. It's just going to be a knight. Knight takes check. Maybe they go king b6.
What about just like if we play queen?
Where do they go?
Queen e5 check.
Yeah, but that's definitely including the queen. So we want to, if we can, we want to include the queen. If we go knight takes e6, it looks like, I don't know. Can they even get away from that? It's still tricky, actually. Maybe they can play king b5. I don't know. King b5, queen d8 check. King b6 to b5, and then after b5, queen b8 check, king a. Yeah, then if they go king before they're getting mated with queen b3 mate. I don't know. It still might work. It still might work. Although maybe they just come back to where they were on. Yeah, they probably just have to go back to d7. So queen e5 check. What's happening now? There's limited options. Again, we're just trying to make the king walk into our rook. We want to utilize their rook on h1. So we want to pull him back to the back rank, right? We already have, we kind of have him in a mating net. The only thing is maybe b6. But again, I think we know that that's okay. So how would you guys calculate that? What's the full line? We go queen e5 check. Now, if he goes to the back rank, what happens?
Now, if he goes to the back rank,
like king c8, then what happens?
Then you just rook check, right?
That's over. It's gonna be mate. Take the rook. It's gonna be mate because you got this all covered. Okay, so they can't go back. That means they only have one real move here. And if they go to b6, what happens?
And if they go to
kind of like what we just looked at actually. King is stuck in a mating net.
Queen b8 check.
Exactly. That king is definitely stuck in a mating net. So we got this little. Got a red net right there. Yeah, he's caught here. And if he goes here, well, he goes here, he's stuck in that net right there. Really no way out of that. So king b6. And then we've got queen to b8. And then the rook has to block, actually. There's not even any time for king b5 now.
And then you just take, and that's
instamate. Got an instamate right there. So that's it. And I think that's what she did because her opponent resigned a few moves later. Let's see. That's it. And she's getting mated in one, so she gave up. Pretty nice. But yeah, I mean intuitively, nice. Intuitively you could just, and I guess that's how, I think that was her final game that determined, the title.
Yeah, really good.
Really nice. Yeah, but you could kind of intuitively just sense. She might have calculated the whole thing, but I think she knows, look, I have all these checks. But you can pretty quickly see you get the light squares here, get the dark squares there. Either force the king back. Yeah, you have to see queen b8, but you have a really strong attack. Because actually, if you don't calculate it carefully, assuming she had time, I don't know how much time she had, but if you don't calculate that carefully, then that counterattack could be devastating. Like if you run out of checks after this. But fortunately, hey, we had that c5 square. That's kind of interesting how she waited that long. The knight was just sitting there since like what? What move was that? Since move 11, and finally on move 35. It just comes in the game, right? So 24 moves later, it hops in. Nice game, huh?
Yeah.
That's really good game.
Yeah, there's another game. Let me see. 2 games that day that she played. She plays Sabina, playing as black, it looks like. Yeah. And she also, so she had to win both. Let's just look at her 2 final wins. So we got.
Sorry for that.
We got G4. You guys have time to see this one real quick?
Yeah.
All right, let's just look at this. Let's just look at this one also. Let's see. She's playing black. So I think this was her second to last game. Yeah, because I think it was in order. This was like the earlier in the day game. Interesting. She's playing, very aggressively. So she's got this like modern defense, like a perk for modern defense. Have you guys ever played this?
I've seen it.
I think you've played something similar to this, or maybe Anonymous has played C. Well, he likes to play C6 with D5, but it's kind of similar. And then now she's going to get the bishop pair, and she's going to have the diagonal. She could play C5 at some point, which actually does that right now. So she's putting pressure on the diagonal, getting the bishop pair anytime she wants it. So she's creating imbalances. Of course, white has the file for the rook. But you can't take g5 because the bishop's guarding. So she's solid enough with the uncontested bishop. And now she's opening the line up a little bit on the diagonal. So she's got this maybe b5, b4 later. And she's got the bishop pair. It's something that might come in handy. Wait, what? What is going on? What is going on? Is there a queen h5 threat? You guys see that?
Oh, wow.
Wow. Does that work?
That's pretty crazy.
I mean, she's going to pull the king out, but it looks good. But maybe Irina I don't know, she must have calculated it when she played. I mean, I was just looking at it briefly and just like, oh, you can't win the rook. But there's something deeper with takes, bishop takes h8, which is what happened. Anonymous, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay, look at this. So it looks like, hey, what are you doing? You're just like, we're just trading. But then there's queen h5, hitting the bishop and the pawn. But it's not made. The problem is, but it's not made. She just goes here, she lets her take, and then she's just running over to c7, right? That's I don't know.
Yeah.
She must have again. She must have had to look at.
But
You
that
gotta
is still
you gotta
really
calculate your
like
opponent's
sneaky.
counterplay.
That's pretty crazy.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
it's pretty sneaky.
It's I would call it yeah. It's like it's fearless. It's fearless chess. Intrepid, uncompromising chess. Just fear. Don't fear anything. Go for the win. What do we have now? 2 pawns down for the piece. Double
Something like
pawns.
that.
We still have our bishop pair. There's just no. The problem is there's just nothing to do for. I mean, yeah, white's doing okay, but okay, you can. Oh, maybe you get the c pawn. I don't know. You might get the c pawn, but she's got these counter threats. She's just fearless. She wants that. She wants that victory. She wants that title back. It's been I think a few years since she had it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's like, well, what happens now, guys?
That was such a sneaky move.
That was very sneaky. What
It was
happens
really nice, actually. Now this whole thing's happening.
Well, now the bishops lose. What happens if the rook takes the queen? If white's rook takes the black queen.
So then you take and then take and then.
You have to take their queen, right?
Yeah.
And then what? Now the rook's hanging.
Wow, this is really interesting. So you take and then black takes white queen, and then what can the rook do? Then I don't know. Maybe bishop takes knight. No, that doesn't.
But the rook's
work.
hanging. Yeah, you just have to. Well, you'll probably keep the pin. You know, let's say you move the rook somewhere, like I don't know, here or whatever.
Yeah.
Actually goes after the knight, but then the knight just comes back again. Probably like maybe d6 this time. Something like that, and the bishop tries to hold the pawn. We pretty much just need to play b6. And keep in mind that's under attack. Just play b6 and bishop b7, and you get off that pin, and you just have a piece in the endgame. So, yeah, she can't go into the endgame. She just can't do it. It's not gonna. The rook on the back rank is not enough to win. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the king is not really that protected either.
The what?
The king.
For black or for white?
Both.
Yeah, but in the end game, she's fine. So I mean, definitely, Sabina has to stay in this middle, kind of like late middle game. She has to try that. But as you see, like it's kind of drawing up. And the thing is, there's the c5's hanging. But so is the bishop. So once you move the queen, oh, that was really elegant. Look at that. So she hits the queen. I think she didn't calculate that one originally. It was kind of quick games, I think. She must have missed that. So queen h8, queen e2. Just solid b6. Why let the queen? Why take and let the queen go to c4 and pin your pawn? Put more pressure on your pawn. She's like, look, I'm just going b6.
No reason.
Yeah, I'm going b6, bishop b7, get my rook out, and I'm up a piece. My king is actually not really any less safe than yours. She's thinking, right? Probably because, that's actually a pretty solid pawn chain. No one's getting in there. You can try a little bit, but hey, once black gets the extra piece out, they just have a piece, and they can use that for defense or attack. Now that's an interesting choice. Why do you think she didn't? I'm sure a lot of people would be tempted to go bishop b7, but you have to keep in mind that your opponent has a little counterplay with their rook. So what if you go bishop b7? Do you see the way the rook is going to come in?
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
That's sneaky, huh? Take.
Yeah, very sneaky.
How does the rook invade now? The knight's covering d7. What do we do about the knight if we're playing for Sabina?
The
rook wants in. We got a weak square right there.
The rook wants in, then.
But knight's stopping it.
But how do you remove it?
You don't want the knight there. Simple chess. Remove the knight. Make it leave.
If c4.
F4.
Yeah, sorry, that's what.
Oh yeah, there's nothing written down, right? F4. Something like this. Takes. Knight moves somewhere.
That was my thought.
Yeah, the king is on b7, so the rook will come in. And then the queen starts coming in and stuff. Yeah, you don't need all that. It's kind of like, okay, she dealt with a lot of, it's interesting that she actually does give her opponent a lot of counterplay in both games, but she has remedies though, right? She's ready for it. All right, so we have bishop b5, rook b8, king b1. Okay, prophylactic safety move, right? King b1, but that gives her time. That just shows that she doesn't have anything to do though. There's no compensation really. 3, except for you're basically down at least a point, but we all know that if you're just down a piece for 2 pawns, it's pretty much, if you don't have anything really to make up for it, you're most likely going to lose, right? Because that piece should be stronger in the end game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice move. Look at that.
This is a really good game.
Yeah, it just shows you how to handle that situation. I mean, you could win a lot of games like that. It seems boring, but hey, if you can be fearless, provoke your opponent to sacrifice against you. Give away your bishop for a pawn or two or something, and just walk your king over to the other side. Get out, consolidate. You got to stay solid. Get your pieces out. Oh look, she's just trading. And now she still has those bishop pairs. She's still got the bishop pair though. Okay, she blocks one, but she opens up another. And look at how she keeps making like counter threats. She's ignoring her threats whenever. I mean, you should deal with your opponent's threats, but in this case, there's this idea. Well, she's like, look, if you take me, I just take back with my bishop. Get it off the hook. And now we're just in an end game where I have a bishop pair against the knight. So yeah, it's just over, I think. Well, okay, the knight's going to stir up a little bit of trouble, but now she does last for a while. I mean, you got to obviously not going to walk into like some tricks with the fork. Well, the white queen's hanging, so stuff to deal with that. Yeah, a couple little bit of you got to do some stuff here, but I think it's over. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now she's got a pawn for a piece. It's just not. It's over. But she lasted for a while here, actually.
Wow, that was really interesting. She lasted.
Yeah. Sabina did not make it easy for her, but this is a winning position. You know that's winning. I mean, yeah. Now she's just up, especially the two bishops. I mean, just that bishop pair works so well together. There you go, prophylactic move, safety move. Give him nothing. When you have a chance, you give him no counterplay. Okay, sometimes she gives him counterplay because she senses it's like, okay, you try something, but I'm going to strike back harder, and I'm going to get something. I'm going to provoke something. But now her game's easy. She just uses her bishops, runs the pawn. That's it. That's game.
That was really nice.
That's just a win. And the extra bishop cleans up. Wow. Very nice technique by Irina. So she really earned it. She really earned the title. I think it was saying that she's 8-time U.S. champion. If you go to the...
Yeah, she just handled it really well.
She did. Very clean wins. So they're both pretty tactical. The first one was more like she just restrained her opponent for a while, and then she finally let them out, kind of like let them out a little bit, but she saw that she had a win. In the second game, it was like right from the start, they had a lot of play, but she was just going, it was very cutthroat, like with the G5 and taking on G3. And interestingly, I didn't think that white would have anything on the H file. They did have something, but it wasn't enough, was it?
Yeah.
Pairings and results. And then it looks like the U.S. championship, overall U.S. championship, because he had like senior championship, women's championship, youth championship. So yeah, Irina won $20,000, 8-time women's champion. And second place, Carissa Yip, Endorsa, Derek Shani, Jennifer Yu, Tata Abrahamyan. Yeah, she's actually from where I went from originally in Los Angeles. And that's anything above 5 is solid, but there were 3 of them that did really well. Yeah, Dorsa, Carissa, and Irina. 7,
they all did
8,
really
and they all got more than $10,000. Not a bad payday, huh?
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. I'll stop the stream. Nice work, guys.